The new frontier of lower body training these days is all about your glutes. That means a host of Instagram influencer types who are going to deliver new and innovative ways to train your glutes and plump your peach. Naturally, a bunch of these moves don't actually grow your glutes, and mostly they're just a waste of time. So here are 5 moves you're better off skipping in your quest for stronger glutes, and a couple better moves that you can do instead. When it comes to bodyweight glute exercises, you're going to see a variation of the bird dog known as the heel press very often, and you're going to see plenty of trainers having women do this exercise. The truth is, though, it is not a great move for your glutes. Now, don't get me wrong. The heel press and the bird dog are both really good beginner moves, and they're both good activation moves that you can think of for warm-ups. And the upside of both ideas is that they do challenge your glutes in a stretch position, which we know can be a mechanic for growth when used properly. The problem with both of these moves is that point blank, you're just not loading your glutes, and you don't have enough potential to really aggressively load your glutes, and you need to do that in order to stimulate deep strength and muscle gains in one of the strongest muscles that you have. The fix for that, we're going to go to the hip thrust instead. This is a similar idea. We're still going to get to challenge our glutes in the stretch position under load, but now we can actually add load, so that makes the hip thrust a superior option to those other exercises. Another move that isn't bad, but again, you wind up training something other than your glutes and you're just not going to be able to load it aggressively enough to really grow your glutes, is the single leg deadlift. Now, the single leg deadlift is a spectacular move if we're trying to train balance, if we want to build a little bit of coordination, and if we just want to work a single leg hinge. There's nothing wrong with doing a single leg deadlift. But if we actually want to build our glutes and really focus on our glutes, let's turn our attention to a different unilateral exercise. Let's look at the dumbbell step up. Now, the great thing with this is, again, 1, we can add weight. 2, we still get that really strong vertical hip extension as we stand onto the top of a box or bench. And the other thing that is really awesome about this is we're going to get a much better stretch on our glutes with a larger step. We get to start from that stretch position and really push our glutes to the edge. The glute bridge is another great bodyweight move, but a lot like the heel press, it has a significant problem in that we just can't load it. Even worse, we're not going to get much work in the stretch position at the bottom of this move because you're essentially fully on the ground, so you're not really having to use your glutes at all. And then on top of that, we've got that serious limitation for load. It's just not an exercise worth doing. You can keep glute bridges as an activation or use them if you're in the hotel room and you really just want to get a little bit of glute work. But if you actually want to train your glutes and grow your glutes, let's go back to the hip thrust. That way we get that good stretch at the bottom of the motion and we can load up at the top so we can really contract our glutes and drive into aggressive hip extension. An ultra popular Instagram move, especially among that influencer crowd for your glutes, is something called the cable deadlift. And in this move, essentially, we're using a cable as the load, and that's gonna theoretically pull you forward. That way you can get more stretch on your glute. Except here's the thing. When we do that cable deadlift, because of the position and direction of the load, we're actually not getting that much more stretch on our glutes. If anything, we wind up tractioning at our spine a little bit, and maybe we create a little bit of stretch at the shoulder joint. None of that is going to make this any good to really aggressively target your glutes anymore, and you're definitely not going to get a better glute contraction as you stand up. So instead of doing an exercise like the cable deadlift, let's just go old school and let's do a simple dumbbell Romanian deadlift, but take this exercise heavy. You're gonna get a much better stretch on your glutes, and more than that, as you stand up, you get a much better contraction on your glutes. And the best part of the Romanian deadlift compared to that cable deadlift is we can just really load this move up, and that load is really what's gonna drive your glutes towards the strength and muscle that you really want. So get those other moves out of your workouts and focus on our moves instead, and you will actually see the glute gains that you want.